It's April 1st in the afternoon here in Silver Spring, Maryland, and I'm heading out for a little trip down to the park. Check out, see if the rain last night washed down a bunch of trash into the creek, and we'll pick up some recyclables. I'm also going to be looking for some things to bring home to eat. Make a little salad out of things I can find. So off we go. So just about a minute down the street, I get to the entrance to Sligo Creek Park. The sun's coming out, pretty nice. And here's a little creek. Now this little tributary of Sligo Creek used to, before all the development, go all the way up to Georgia Avenue, almost a mile upstream. But it's just been turned into a bunch of storm drains. So here's where it empties out, and then it runs off down. It turns into a nice little woodland stream here for about a quarter of a mile before it meets up with Sligo Creek. And every time it rains, it seems like there's a new load of plastic bottles and other kinds of trash that washes down from civilization into nature. Let's go see what we can find. First off, let me just stop here and just look at some of the ground cover here. So we have mostly non-native things here. English ivy and those pretty little purple flowers of periwinkle. A couple of ground covers that have escaped into the park over the years. On up ahead, you can see the yellow flowers. That's a really aggressive, invasive called lesser celandine. It's just taken over large sections of the park in just the last few years. Down here in the stream, I don't know if you can hear the little running water. I love that sound. There isn't as much stuff here as I expected. It may be that because we had a pretty hard rain, it rained about an inch yesterday, that it took the trash a little farther downstream. I had come and picked this up just a couple of days ago, so we'll move on down and see what we find. There are the first finds here. A plastic water bottle and can and an umbrella. Somebody needed that. There's also some plastic bag here and a long piece of some kind of strapping. So I'll try to get all that stuff. Here's looking back upstream where we came from. Had a little excitement that you missed there. I stepped on one of those rocks that turned out to be a little unstable, so I've got a wet foot. Coming on down, you see this area in front of me now that's wide and shallow, and this is a spot that picks up a lot of trash settles in here as the water subsides. Again, there's not as much here as I expected. There's a plastic straw. And over here there's a plastic food container. And we'll find some more things here as we'll look a little closer. A little food package there. More plastic over there toward that bank. So I'll stop filming and pick that stuff up. There's our food container. While I'm here, I'll also point out there's a couple of these down here in the creek. Wrapped around this tree here is a little long roll of stuff that's actually a filter that they put in construction sites in front of drains to filter out the debris and stuff. And when it rains hard, these things just wash down to the creek too. And on just a little downstream now. And there was a pair of mallards in this little stretch right in front of me here that flew out as I approached. Here we have a little plastic bag that's caught on a little limb a few feet out. So I'm just going to use a handy tool that I found here by the creek. See if I can fish that out. Right. Speaking of fish, there are some little fish in here. Not sure exactly what kind, but they're little and they swim in schools. And here's flowers of a native plant called spice bush. Makes little yellow flower clusters, and this spice bush is growing almost horizontally out over the creek from the bank that's being undercut. Okay, there you can see plastic bag or something across there, and then something floating just on the other side of that kind of curly limb that's angling out over there. So I'm going to go get these things and we'll meet back up with you later. So here, taking a little break from the garbage pickup, we have some violets growing along the bank. I'm going to pick some of the flowers to use as a little garnish in my salad. So I wandered up away from the creek a little bit, and up here along an old stream bank, we've got some young garlic mustard plants here. Nice one. There's several more here. Now, garlic mustard is a non-native invasive. It's also edible. So I'm going to try to get these plants, which will get them out of the park where they don't need to be, and also give me something to eat. And so I've picked a number of these little plants now, and the earth is really soft because we've had some rain, so it's easy to get them pulled up by the roots, which is good, so that they don't grow back. And also the whole plant, the flower or the leaves and the roots, are edible. It's called garlic mustard because it's a member of the mustard family of plants, and it has a little garlicky smell. So I'm going to put these in my bag and head back down, move on downstream. So here we've got another plastic bag snagged on a branch out in the creek. And then down on the bottom here, there's a smashed Red Bull can. Been run over by cars a few times and then washed into the gutter, and now it's down here messing up the stream. I see also here an old, looks like Coca-Cola can that I must have missed last time I was here. Looking on downstream, I can see down there on that gravel bar there's some more stuff, so that's where I'm headed after picking these things up. So here's the view back upstream. It's a really lovely afternoon. The sunlight coming down. The water's just rippling down through that rocky stretch. Seems a shame to have a little stream like this just get littered up by people's carelessness and thoughtlessness. There are certain spots along the creek that I've learned will often have things, the way the water flows and traps things. And so here's one of those spots where we've got a very small little space, a plastic water bottle that's been squished by being run over up somewhere up there, a plastic cup, and a plastic bottle of Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Someone had a fun time drinking that and then thought the bottle should just be set free. Here's a large gravel bar that the creek is running down the east side of now and undercutting this bank. And right where the bend is the most, there's a tangle of tree roots that often catches things. You can see the food wrappers, plastic bags, and another plastic bottle. Going down from that, a little pool, and then the creek takes a turn in the other direction, and not far after that, it joins in with Sligo Creek. This is looking back from a little farther down where the tributary comes out beneath that bridge, running toward me in my direction, and meets in with the main Sligo Creek, which comes from that direction. A flowering tree here. The blossoms are just starting to get pushed away by the new leaves coming out. Lots of folks out today enjoying the beautiful weather. While I was down here, I dropped off some trash and with park receptacle, I'll take the recyclables home to sort out. And I wandered across the street, picked up some dandelions to add to the salad. It took me about 5 minutes to walk back up from the park to the house. And then I walked on over on the other side to another little trail where there's some dock that I'm going to get for the salad as well. Let's take a look at that. And here we have several plants here. There's one. And then there's a whole row of them all the way down the side of the path. So I'm going to I'll pick 5 or 6 leaves maybe. That'll be a nice base for the salad. And then I'm going to head home and fix it all up. Now back in the kitchen, I've done some washing here, and I've got basically my, what should we call it? Wild spring mix maybe? We've got some dock, some dandelion. There's also a few plantain leaves in there. I stopped by the side of the house and pulled up some wild garlic kind of chivy plants that grow out there. Pretty strong garlicky taste there. The violet blossoms. And a bowl of garlic mustard. Now there's a lot more garlic mustard than we'll use for fresh salad, but it's an invasive plant and I just wanted to clean that area out. What I'll do is I'll use some leaves. The salad, I'm going to clean off and saute up some of the garlic mustard roots to add, and then I'll just cook down the rest of the greens, have that over the next couple of days. Garlic mustard blanched and cooked is a little bit like spinach. So I've got some more trimming and cleaning and things to do, and I'll put it together. Alright, so here's the final thing. We've got our dock, some little plantain, little dandelions, and garlic mustard, sprinkled with dandelion petals, some violets, and some sauteed garlic mustard roots with a few little wild garlic chives there too. And I'll see how this is. Bon appetit!